Good morning, and thank you for having us to this conference. First of all, the last talk finished by stressing the importance of going there where the adolescents are to meet their needs. And this was also our perspective when we conducted our applied research on the linking of sexual rights and sexuality education in Switzerland. As I also understood, Switzerland is not the real world, so we will bring you some results from the unreal world of Swiss reality. So, as I said, the aim of our research was to shed light on how sexual rights and sexuality education are currently linked, and we wanted to get the global picture, investigating the perspective of all the stakeholders, so adolescents, parents, teachers, and professionals. We wanted to learn about the perception of sexuality education, of the practice of sexuality education, especially parents and teachers, and also of the place and the status of sexual rights in informal and formal sexuality education. Yeah. We have a twofold research design. We decided to do this explorative research in two phases. The first one is already done, so that's why I'm presenting you today. It's more focused on the family-based or informal sexuality education, and we were conducting interviews with parents and adolescents, and we hope to get started with the fieldwork of the second phase next February. And we will concentrate in the second phase on formal sexuality education, so with teaching staff and also a whole range of professionals of sexual health who are doing sexuality education in diverse forms. And this research is done by three partners, so that first the two social work schools of Switzerland, the one in Geneva and the one in Lucerne, who provide training for sexual health professionals, and also the Foundation of Sexual Health Switzerland. We can get back to it because, as it was announced on the program, we had two to present you with this research, and my colleague Gilberte White, who represents the foundation, is in the room, and she will be ready to answer any of your questions later. I won't spend too much time on the background, as you are all familiar with this shift towards recognition of sexual rights. That's the same shift of paradigm happens also in Switzerland concerning formal sexuality education. So what is currently done in the Swiss context is comprehensive sexual education, and our main references are the Montreal Declaration of 2005, the sexual rights as defined by the IPPF, and also the standards for sexuality education in Europe as defined by the WHO and the BZGA. So just to give you our main reference point. Some information all on the context of sexuality education. First of all, Switzerland is a federation of 26 different cantons with 26 different logics and policies and realities, so there is no national policy for education in general at all. So this goes also for sexuality education. So we have a very wide range of practices and stakeholders depending on the cantons. Just two main tendencies in the Latin part of Switzerland, so the French and Italian speaking part. We have a so-called external model, so where professionals from outside the school come into school to do sexuality education, where in the German-speaking part, mainly it's a mandate given to the teachers. So in their teaching mandate, they also do some sexuality education. I mentioned before the umbrella organization, the Foundation Sexual Health in Switzerland, and this umbrella organization reunites all the sexual health professionals and services, and they promote a rights-based approach. And this comprehensive sexuality education approach is not welcome at all from all the parties. So we had some popular initiatives, the last important one in 2013, attacking this early sexualization, I quote, in the kindergarten and at school, and they asked for the ban of sexuality education before the age of 12, and from 12 we should only concentrate on biological facts linked to reproduction. Fortunately, this initiative, for instance, was withdrawn because lack of support in the major part of the population. And also at the same time, in the same context, we also had other kind of tendencies like the creation of the Alliance for Sexuality Education in Switzerland, which is an alliance linking over 70 organizations supporting comprehensive sexuality educations, like for instance parental associations who are already doing this work of promotion, which is a recent we created in 2015. So let's get to our research. What I do today is give you some short insight into the results of the first phase. What were our research questions? We wanted first to know about the practice of sexuality education of parents in Switzerland, because we have no data available on this yet. And also we wanted to know whether sexual rights are known by parents and adolescents, whether they are appreciated, whether they can do something with it. And we were also interested in how the values which are implied underlying sexual rights, how they responded to parents and adolescents. So in this first phase, we did individual interviews with parents. We met 14 mother and 13 father in 7 different cantons, and we did focus interviews, focus groups with scenario-based interviews with the teenager, and we have met altogether 34 girls and 36 boys in the same 7 different cantons. So we had a mix of urban and rural setting, and we were mixing 3 different languages, German, French and Italian, and doing this research. So the results, I'm trying to focus on the values and the sexual rights of the results that we had. It's really just a short extract. First of all, no parent and no adolescent explicitly mentioned sexual rights. So they were not familiar at all with this new concept of promotion of sexual health. But as we found out, many of the values which are underlying sexual rights were already comprised in their practices. So, for instance, the central values that we have found in the parental praxis, we divided them in 3 different blocks. The first column, you can refer to the personal level, where there is enormous importance according to self-determination, and also to trust also in oneself. Then maybe the second column you can understand as interpersonal level, where the sincerity in the interpersonal relation is something really important, and the capacity to talk openly and sincerely all about emotion and sexuality. And tenderness is also a core value for the parents in this education. And the third column I could refer to as a level maybe of society, where in the reference to others, respect is something really stressed, and the tolerance towards otherness. We will come to the details yet, because until now it's really a beautiful word, and sexuality is wonderful and important. But as we go to the details, we have also found out that there are gender differences, like boys should respect women and girls should respect themselves, which is not exactly the same thing. And regarding sexual rights and their perceptions by the adolescents and the parents, we have found some concordances and differences. Parents and teenagers agree regarding the importance of the right to self-determination, as I just said before. Also the importance of the protection against sexual violence, and a major importance for privacy, having privacy as a privacy of space, but also a privacy of being able to live one's life without interfering of the parents. And also the necessity of education and information, and evidence-based information, up-to-date information, especially on HIV and STI. What we have also found, that parents, the group of parents we met, and also the adolescents we have met, are more ambivalent on the same rights. The first is sexuality among adolescents. So at what age can teenager have an active sexual life? There was a heated debate going on around this question, and there was also even more controversy in the focus groups, for instance, regarding the equality and gender diversity, and also the diversity of sexual orientations. So, is it normal, abnormal, etc., etc.? We have found that especially boys tended to be much more touchy about this issue, younger boys whom we have met. And there was a difference, a noticeable difference in the positioning of parents and teenager regarding the right to choose whether to marry or not. So as for parents, in the individual interviews, they presented, of course, our children can marry whomever they would like to. As to teenager, it was much more important to get the approval of the family. So it was also a discourse for many presenting a very loyal standing point towards one's family or the values of the community. But I have also, I must precise that parents, we have met middle-class parents, even with all our efforts to diversify the panel of the parents we have met, which was not the case for the teenagers. We had a much more varied profile of teenagers. So this is maybe one of the explanations for this result. So to conclude rapidly on the informal sexuality education and the linking of sexual rights, we have found a deficit of dialogue within the families. So parents are convinced that they know what their kids know. So they are perfectly informed what they learn, what they are aware of, etc. And the adolescents feel that there is no dialogue going on, or that they are disconnected in a way from their parents. And this, therefore, we could stress the importance of continue this work of alliance of different stakeholders to confront these point of views and get the dialogue going on. Also, another important result was for us, which gets us also to the second phase of the research, that parents and teenagers, they accorded enormous importance to what goes on in school setting. So formal sexual education was very much associated with school, and it should be done in school, and it's important that school does something also because it ensures equal chances of access to information for all. So that was the main reason why parents and adolescents stressed the necessity of doing also or even more formal sexuality education than concentrating on the informal one. Some perspective for the policy making. For us, these research results should allow to reflect on sexual rights as a means to integration for all. Also, for our schools providing already training for professionals, this helps us to develop the curricula even more rights-based direction. And also for all the professionals, this is really food for thought to think about a cooperative approach for sexuality education and its design. And I want to conclude with a remark what I said before about the Swiss context. There is no global policy whatsoever. So for instance, there is no national health policy yet. It's still under construction. And I wanted to show you some points which show a progress towards this direction. Because, for instance, for now, the different issues of sexual health are included in several domains and laws, but there is no national program. But the change has started. So the AIDS Commission of the Federation had changed its name into Sexual Health Commission in 2014. And this year, in June, we finally had the first national definition of sexual health in Switzerland, which was accepted. And this national health program defines, no, not a program, it's a definition, sorry. It defines 5 axes of action. The first is to promote and maintain sexual health as a part of psychic health. The second, to promote and maintain reproductive health. The third is to prevent STI and AIDS. The fourth, to prevent all forms of sexual violence and abuses. And the fifth, what concerns us here today, is comprehensive sexuality education as a base to address all of these issues. Thank you for your attention.